Call the meeting to order. Today is July 21st, 2022. This is the Town of Manlius Zoning Board Appeals meeting for the month of July. We go around the table here real quick. So I'm Tim Kelly, I'm the chair. KP Kelly, no relation. Warren Linhart, Claire, and Carrie. Tom Poitras is our codes officer. Allison Weber over there is our town clerk. Jamie Suffin is the attorney who represents the ZBA. And Debbie Whistle is our secretary and awesome. Now you look.
No, I don't.
All right. So first up, what we're going to start with is we could all please stand and pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, so tonight we have 5 items on the agenda for zoning variances and an appeal. The appeal was from last month. So what I am actually going to do is we're going to shuffle around the agenda here just a little bit. And we're going to move the appeal up to the top of the docket just because most of you that are in the audience, I don't want to make you wait like I did last time. So, all right. So to bring this back around, the appeal was to the Manlius Zoning Board of Appeals for an appeal about the issuance of a building permit by the code enforcement officer for the abundant solar power project on Bowman Road. As stated in the last meeting, we heard from the representative, Mr. Udamal. I pronounced that right? Sorry if I. And we had said that we were going to table the decision on whether or not the codes officer had properly filed the building application, which is the question at hand here. We then moved that to this meeting. In doing so, at the end of the meeting, in our minutes, actually, before we do this, we should approve our minutes from last month. I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead here because I'm trying to get things ahead. Did everybody on the board have a chance to review the minutes from last month? Yep. Does anybody have any questions? Somebody like to make a motion? All right, KP, Warren, your second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Thank you.
And the minutes are in the paper? Or the
Yes. Yep. All right. So as I was about to say, and I reminded myself of doing those, at the end of the meeting last month, I had requested for information to be provided so that the zoning board was on the same page and was able to make an appropriate decision based upon the information at hand that we could look through and see all that stuff. Not all of that information was presented in a timely manner. The town, and we're working to review it as the ZBA here. So what I am asking that we could do is, because we still have a few questions, is if we could please move that to the following meeting. Okay. The reason behind that is I want to make sure that we make an appropriate decision with all the facts in front of us, that the board can make that. They can go through and ensure that the timeline is correct, as Mr. Udamal presented in his information last meeting. So I would like to ask if we could.
So that we have this.
And yeah, yep. So we do have, we did receive just the other day a affidavit from Tom Poitras, our zoning officer here in the town of Manlius. Would you like to read this right now, or hold on a second?
Yeah, I think it's okay. It's actually in the file here, and we have requested that it be posted. So our clerk is going to post it so it's available on the website tomorrow morning.
I think we should have him read it since he's prepared it.
Wants.
Now,
Sure.
the reason too that I would like to postpone this on the decision is based upon this and then your information. I don't have all of the answers yet to be able to make an educated or well-informed decision and do my duty as a member of the ZBA. So is that understandable?
May I speak?
Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask for opportunity to review all of the documents that the code officer considered, as he states in his affidavit, between April 9 and April 13, that we have an opportunity to examine all of the documents that he is saying he can review. I think it's critical under your code that that be produced in order for you to make your decision.
And that can be made available to you, Dirk, if you can just
Okay.
call Allison. I know you were working on that, and those were the documents also that we're looking at as well.
Sure.
So,
So we'll, between now and your next meeting,
Correct.
call and make arrangements. And
yes, I talked to the town clerk. She has
town
those.
clerk's office.
Right.
Okay, that works.
Debbie has them as well.
Yeah.
I know.
That works for me.
Okay.
That's acceptable.
Now, in that regards too, is what I want to do is go through all these documents with the board, create a timeline so that I can see the timeline in which the documents were filed, looking at the town application process, that all that matches, so that we're making sure that we do the proper due
I
diligence in that.
just want the opportunity after reviewing those documents at your next meeting to make comments before you render your decision, if you're inclined to do so at your next meeting.
Absolutely,
That's perfect. Thank you.
absolutely. I would like you to read your, if you could please.
Chairman, member of the board. My name is Tom Poitras, the codes officer for the town of Manlius. I reviewed an application for a building permit from Abundant Solar Power for a ground-mounted ballasted solar photovoltaic array. The application was received by the town of Manlius April 1st, 2022. The project documents and information submitted were reviewed by myself between 4/9 and 4/13/2022 in accordance with procedures for issuance of a building permit, including compliance with current New York State Building Code, Energy Conservation Construction Code, the applicable town of Manlius Code, and design standard requirements. The review includes the site plan last dated October 2021, which I was advised by the town attorney was accepted by the town board. On review of the documents and information submitted for a permit for the proposed project, to the best of my knowledge, that based on the information that was submitted for review, the applicant did meet the minimum requirements that were set forth in the current edition of the New York State Building Code, Energy Conservation Construction Code, the Town of Manlius Code, and design standard requirements. The building permit was issued on 4/14/2022, and a condition of the approval was certificate of compliance subject to New York State Department of Environmental Conservation approval, as attached here too. The town supervisor did sign the site.
And I just want to make it on record too, that this affidavit was given to Jamie. So it was done before her, right?
Yes.
So that's all. Just so we have all the answers here. Now, I do have a question. So in doing this application, was this done in the manner of you as Tom with this complaint or appeal representative, you as the employee of the town, and Jamie was representing you on behalf of the town, or as you as Tom Poitras?
No,
I'm just curious.
Yeah. So I'm the attorney for the zoning board of the.
Right, I understand.
And he provided this affidavit to me.
Okay, I'm just
Yep.
trying to clarify.
Okay.
So if there's any questions that come up as that conversation, so.
Okay.
Anything else?
Does anybody else have any questions for Tom? Feel free to ask him, because if we have questions now, we can answer, we can get what we need to make sure we can make a perfect decision.
Do we have a timetable where we're gonna get together and go over all this stuff?
I've got
Or
this that was,
is this something that needs to be published that we can, if there's more than 3 of us together, we have to have it published? Right?
Or you can review them separately, come in and look at all of these documents yourself.
I'd make a motion that we all get together
and review these records together before the next meeting.
I would object to that being a public meeting. If we do an advice of council meeting, I would have that. But otherwise, I think you should review them separately. Or in groups of no more than 2.
Well, any more than 2, we'd have a meeting. So if we had 3,
There's,
That would be a.
if we had 3, it'd be a meeting.
Right,
So you only can do it 2 or in one group.
right.
if it's one group, then if it's a public meeting, then everybody comes and you're not going to review them on your own.
So as far
I
as,
think-
this is a Debbie question, as far as the documents for the application, right? You guys have all that you can get to each of us. What would be the timeline that we'd be able to get those, the remainder of everything?
So everybody get a copy of everything, all
Of
of it.
everything, Tom.
Yeah.
Review.
Like the building permit file? Is that what
Yeah,
you're-
Yeah.
that's what they're
Yes.
asking for. Yeah.
Would it be all the codes too that we might not understand?
No.
You can, yeah, we could, or it's referenceable right on the town website.
You
all
can
that
also
stuff.
come here and look
Yeah.
at, so there doesn't have to be
Yeah.
1,000 copies.
I'm not sure how much is in the file, so I'm not sure how quickly we can get it scanned in and sent to you. I'll try to get it done by Monday.
Because what I want to do is have a timeline. I want to write out like application, this date, this. And so that we're all in agreement, we all see everything, we all understand everything, there's no questions.
Tom,
And
is it
then-
reasonable that amount of documentation could be put together by Monday?
I have the building permit file, it'd just be within scanning it into our system
Okay.
and finding a way to
And-
duplicate some of the larger plans and or.
How big is it, Tom? Is it like this? Is it like this? Is it like this?
No,
Is
it's,
it a box?
no, it's about,
It's
Probably pretty
probably,
basic.
yeah.
I don't
So-
think it's too bad, but I think there's maps in there that are probably larger than what we can copy here, so we'll have to send them out or have them scanned in by someone.
Do we need to review the plans, the whole?
It will be in his file.
So I think too, the thing here to remember too is that we obviously we want to go through all the documents and have that timeline, right? But on the other side of it, I just want to remind everybody that what is being appealed here is that the filing of the building permit was done incorrectly. So we have to remember that we are not the planning board. We're not, not the town board. So we're not making any decisions on that stuff. It's, is this done properly? Was this done in accordance with the law? Did he file everything with the proper checks and balances in place to ensure that that application was done correctly? And then our determination from all that information, yes, it's a lot of homework, but the right answer will come out of that yes or no, Tom filed that, and we make that decision. And sorry to you residents for having to come out to a third meeting, but I do appreciate your patience.
Your plans, the building plans, as many pages as there are, they all came at one time?
No,
No.
there was documents that came.
No, the roll of plans. You got plans, you have specifications, you have,
There was supplement documents that I requested from Abundant Solar Power during the review,
that was before the,
issuance of the permit.
So that's why I want these documents, because I don't want to, we've got to be able to know what we've got, right? Otherwise, right now, we're just speculating. We know what we've read, we know what we've been asked. I know what I know anecdotally from listening to every town board and town planning board meeting for the last 2 years. But it's not the meat of it.
no. In the building, in the building code, in uniform building code of the state of New York.
Yep.
They give you a whole list of what's required.
Right.
And what Tom has to collect.
Yep.
And what he has to review before he can issue a permit.
Correct.
So
That's
if you
that's
know
what
where to
that's
find
what we're
it,
asking for.
if you
It's
know
like-
where to find it in the code book.
Yep.
Then you get that list and then you just go down and see if everything is there.
Exactly.
You timestamp stuff?
The the review, no, but what you'll find is that's, like I said, supplement documents that I'd asked for to come in at different dates from the original submittal.
When you guys get them in the office, do you time date them when you receive them?
We have a
Oh,
date
yeah.
stamp. It doesn't have a time on it, but we have a date
A
stamp.
date stamp?
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought you meant my review, what I'm doing.
No, when they get them in the office, it's timely when you get them in the office.
KP, how about Tom and I will go over the application? And then, you know, I can figure out how long it'll take me to get it copied up and see how you guys want to receive it. And we'll get it out there, so I'll be communicating. Okay?
Yeah.
And that goes for all you guys too. If you want anything, please contact me. You can foil any documents you want. Barb knows that.
I've already foiled it. Hardly anything in the file here, if you remember. I was gonna look up the date,
Okay,
all the supporting documents for the building permit issuance.
okay.
Question.
Give me a
We'll make sure that the.
touch base with me and remind me.
Everything
We
we
will
can
follow
think
up on
of to
that.
go in there, that Mr. Boyd just looked at will be in there.
I was just thinking date stamp, like when you pay your taxes.
Yeah.
Stamp.
That's
Yes.
yeah.
So I think the next step will be to figure out the timeline and deadline of when we've all reviewed the information.
So,
It might not be by the next meeting. Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
yeah.
no, well, let's think about that. If we get the documentation, they're saying early next week, right? Whether we each come in individually and look at it or not, what I personally am going to do is I'm gonna make I want dates. And I want to look at the documents and see are they done correctly.
But it's just about when.
But
you can review
what we can do is we do have it on the calendar where we can have a special meeting for this board if we had to. You know, or like you mentioned, an advice of council meeting, if we have to come together to review it as a group. But I just want to make sure that we do this all in a timely manner, especially during the summertime, the months fly. So, I mean, next thing you know, it's going to be state fair time and time for our next meeting. So, and sorry to everybody that was enjoying summer.
If everyone finds that they don't have sufficient time, we'll try to give the public time so that they don't go to another meeting until everyone's ready.
Yes, yeah, that's the other thing is I want to be respectful to you guys. I don't want you to have to keep coming out and just, but I don't want to draw it out either. Let's get what we need, make sure it's reviewed, get it done correctly. And then we can make the best use of everything, so. Does anybody else, Claire, did you have anything?
Really don't.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
While you're going through this process for the next few months, is construction and work continuing on the project on the site?
It is a state because there's a separate legal action pending. No, there is not.
I didn't hear you, Jane.
It is stayed because there's a separate legal action pending. So there is nothing happening.
There's no
Correct.
being done.
That is correct.
Right, because of the legal file, they can't do anything.
Article 78.
Correct.
Yes.
And that'll take some time before it goes through.
There's a date. I don't know what it is. Dirk, you know the date on it?
The date on the hearing
September
is
6th.
78.
September 6th.
Term date is first or second week of September, and abundant. Just had an attorney appear in that action today. I don't know whether it's an attorney from Buffalo, and I don't know whether he'll be asking for an extension of time. So that's all I can tell you. But I think it's like 12 or 13. Okay.
Does anybody else have any other questions or comments? Is there anybody online?
It looks like one applicant is online and
Yep, he
then
was gonna be.
someone just signed in under the name Ellie with no last name.
So you're. Let's see you on TV. All right. So we need a motion then to continue this. And do we need a motion then also to, or we just, I mean, we're gonna get the documents, we don't need to make a motion for that.
No, there's no second meeting, so the motion to continue it.
Okay, but can we make a clear timeline here right now before we? So if you, let's, Tuesday, maybe Wednesday,
Possibly,
is that?
yeah. I
Well,
would
you
say
got-
Tuesday,
you got-
Wednesday.
Okay, I don't wanna tell you tomorrow, but I wanna give you enough time to do what you need to do.
You got 30 days for the next meeting, roughly.
Yeah.
Right, so we
But
should
if
have
you-
it less than 2 weeks.
Well, if that's Wednesday, it's already 5, so. I just wanna make sure that we have ample time, and we can, if we have to have a meeting, that we can plan it accordingly around everyone's schedule too.
Oh,
So if we say Wednesday for the documents, and then, in what manner are those?
Whatever you want.
Now, are you guys gonna come in individually? Probably easiest than doing it as an electronic file, because that's crazy.
crazy.
It's gonna be a massive Dropbox.
Yeah.
So we'll just maybe do packets, I guess, is that?
It depends on how big the
I
documents
don't
are.
think everyone needs their own,
Oh,
Yeah, I don't
yeah.
think everybody needs their
but
own.
maybe enough so that it.
If we get to see all of them, you know, you may need this table to unwrap the thing, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, they could be,
Well, there's the little conference room right there too, because this is,
We got places for it.
okay. And then we will, when do we want to regroup as a
Right now,
review? And if you have any questions, you can ask me or Jamie or Debbie or Tom. And then,
you're not talking about a group meeting again.
no, I'm talking about like, if you're reviewing, you've got questions.
Yeah.
You're gonna ask the appropriate party and then we will, but do we circle back before the meeting? Like we typically have a planning meeting before we have any. That's standard, but
You want a deadline for us to review the document. So you want a
Yes.
time when we're done reviewing, all of us should have a deadline of when we review documents.
yes,
That's what we need. So when do you want that to be? Like, when's the next meeting? The third week in August, correct?
Right,
August 18th.
well, that's because it starts the first of the week, and that's why it's weird. Okay.
So then do we want to
If
do,
it's set time.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, members of the board.
do you want to do it
I
the
like that,
Friday
make it
before the meeting?
Yeah.
The Friday before the meeting? So what's that date? Is that Tuesday?
Well, yeah, we'll see.
Figure it out. Okay.
Okay. All right, so we need that motion. You
I
made
have
the
a motion
motion?
to table it. I got
gotcha, yeah, okay.
Did you second?
Not even sure what the motion is. but she-
it.
she
I
made it.
table it. Table it.
table to the next
Table it,
meeting.
oh, I'll second that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right,
How
Thank
about that, at your next date? will be for-
that. That's a good question.
I think we're hoping for the next.
We're hoping, yeah, the plan is, that's why I was trying to send an agenda, was so that we could have you at the next meeting.
Yeah, the date of your next meeting,
That's August 18th.
August 18th.
Yes, sir. Yeah, the third Thursday.
Thank you. All set, thank you.
You're welcome. You guys have a great night. You're welcome. Good night, guys. See, and you thought our meetings were like heavily attended normally. They're not.
Yeah, but now we get down to the meat and potatoes.
That's right. All right, so let's go back in order here. So we are going to start with Mary and Matthew Snyder. Are you married? All right. Yep, so, yep, I'm way out of sync. All right, so that is true. We need to get a motion to waive the reading of the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Or public notice. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? So you said. Dan. All right, so, let's do this. Yeah, okay. All right, so at this time, I'm going to request a motion to open the public hearing on the first item on the agenda, or the first application on the agenda for today. And number two, Mary, can you make the motion first? And then Mary, if you want to come up to the podium.
I'll make the motion. We open it as a public hearing.
Warren second.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Opposed? All right. So, Mary, if you could, please tell us what brings you here tonight, what you're looking to do.
We want to construct a 30 by 54 property in our maintenance.
And it looks like here, so you need a height variance of 5 feet, bringing the height to 22 feet, which is 5 feet above the 17-foot code for your pole barn. Now, do you have pictures of that?
In particular, you're looking for it.
Just overhead.
You go to property?
Yeah, if you could.
Oh,
Sorry,
I just had that up. I'm sorry.
just look it down. That's my fault.
There you go.
All right, so that's your property right around where that little red dot is. Now, can you tell us a little bit about what you're doing with this pole barn and why you need the additional height?
We have a snowmobile trailer that's tall, so we need the overhead height to be able to back the trailer into the pole barn. And we have a pickup truck that needs to go in there. So we just need the extra height to clean up everything that's parked in our driveway. and put it in the pole barn.
Understood. You guys, you guys have any questions?
Of course. Look to your meeting without questions. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm all set. No.
Make it easy.
We have two of them tonight.
Okay.
Your property, is that the one closest, let's say you're almost across from the gas station?
No,
No, you're further down.
further
Yes.
down, past Pack Road towards.
Yeah. Yeah, we were out there,
Saturday,
right? Warren and I, the gravel thing.
yes.
All set, thank you. Yeah, I know who I'm talking to now and who I'm talking about. I'm good.
I don't have any questions.
Yeah, no, that was. Ladies,
All right. And so in your application, you answered the 5 questions, right? And thank you for doing that. What we're going to do now is, as a board, we're going to go through those same 5 questions. And we'll make our determination based upon it. All right. So the first question is whether the benefits of the applicant can be achieved by some other means. The height to put the trailer.
yeah, it's not a biggie. Yeah, it's-
And out where they are, that height variance is fairly standard for people to park trailers and campers and all that stuff. And so,
Yeah. But the other thing is, her house, and I think the other one too, for that matter, but they both have lots of room around them.
Yeah.
It's not like they're crowding a barn into a small spot.
Right.
So,
Second question, will this variance cause an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or the nearby properties?
No,
No. All right. Is this request substantial?
no.
All right, whether the request will have adverse physical or environmental effects on your neighborhood or the surrounding areas?
No, she's got it out in the open, you know, it's, again, not crowding any of the neighbors and,
Took care to make sure that you're not gonna get flooded out.
Got a surveyor up there.
Does that get wet pretty much back there or not? Yeah. That's good.
But we're in the flood zone, so.
Yeah. Yeah, especially go further up the road, that folks, like, oh, a little bit of rain, it's flooded. All right. All right, and then the fifth question is whether the need for the variance is self-created.
Yes.
Yeah, we're building a barn. Yes. All right, so I would now like to open the meeting to, yes. Is there anyone in the audience that has any questions? Oh, okay. Is there anybody on there, Allison?
Just the other applicant.
All right, so at this time, I would like to request a motion to close the public hearing. Motion to close. Warren? Second. All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right. So the ZBA, after taking into consideration the above 5 factors, finds that the benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or community. ZBA further finds that the variance for 5 feet is the minimum variance that should be granted in order to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community. ZBA further grants the variance as requested. We don't have any conditions, so I don't need.
No conditions.
And then there's agreement that there is no significant impact on the environment. Therefore, I propose a type 2 action on seeker and no further review is required. All right. So based upon that, I'd like to ask somebody to make a motion. Warren?
Lauren, go ahead.
Warren, raise your hand.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the zoning board grant an area variance to Mary and Matthew Snyder for their property located 6998 North Manlius Road, Kirkville, New York. Variance is granted for the purpose of permitting the construction of a pole barn, an additional 5 feet in height. And,
Second.
Or JP seconded? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. Congratulations. The office will be in touch with you with your permits complete.
Thank you.
Good luck building. Have a great night. All right. I think our next applicant is on the computer, correct?
Yep, I just loaded him to the panelist. He's now able to unmute and start his camera.
This is for Bruce Eppoliti of 7227 Autumn Run Trail in East Syracuse. It's a public hearing for one variance to build a 12 by 12 addition with an existing side yard setback of 13 feet 8 inches. They will need a variance of 1 feet 4 inches to meet the required 15 foot side yard or setback. Is that correct, sir?
Yes,
You can hear
that
us.
is
Okay.
correct.
Thank you for joining us.
I can
So,
hear, it's breaking up a little bit.
You might want to turn your video off. That might make the audio a little better.
Okay.
It's a bandwidth issue.
Oh.
There you go. Yes, that's right. I'm repeating. I'm used to doing that all day. All right. So, first, if you could please just explain to us what it is. Oh, actually, first, may I get a motion to open the public hearing for this agenda item?
I'll make that motion.
Carrie seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Bruce, similar to what the last applicant did, if you could just explain to us what it is you're looking to do with your addition. Explain to us about why you're putting it where you're putting it. I know some of us have spoken to you in person, and just kind of go over that, what it's there for, what it's going to look like.
Yes, so we're adding a 12 by 12 addition off of our kitchen. We have a really small kitchen with no dining area. So we're looking to add the 12 by 12 addition. And that will go over the setback. By doing a 12 by 12 addition, it'll go over the 15-foot setback by about 1.4 feet on one side and 4 inches on the other side of the room.
And we're obviously, because of the shape of the property, we're doing it for the 1 foot 4 inches because the.
Yeah, the property line gets wider as you go along the property line
Right.
towards the back of the property.
Anything else you'd like to add, Bruce?
Yeah, I mean, this is the only spot on the property that we could put the addition. So,
Yeah, just looking at what you're looking to do, it's your dining room. I would assume it's got to be in the same exact spot where it is.
right.
And you can't do much about the shape of your lot. So now, obviously, is it gonna match the siding that's there now? That was my only
Yes.
question.
Yeah, the siding is gonna match. It's all same siding.
Board, Claire, do you have any questions?
No, well, it says, there's gonna be a slider for a future deck. You need a permit for that.
For the future deck, you will.
Did you hear that question?
Yes, yes, for now, there'll be a bar across the slider and, eventually we're gonna add a deck on to where the slider is.
Now, will that be in a spot where you have to get a variance on that?
Possibly, yes.
We just look at those as two separate items. Okay. All right. We don't have to do anything conditional because he's not building that now.
Right.
Okay.
That was my question.
Yeah.
Harry, do you have any questions?
No. As long as it matches the house that's existing there, that's makes sense.
All right.
The roof line is going to continue on the south side of your addition to match the roof line on the south side currently on the house, sir?
Yes, it's gonna match, yes.
They're going to come in and pour a foundation on that? Because I believe it was
Yeah.
sloping toward the back, right?
That is correct.
My other question is, do we hear anything from the neighbor on to your east? Is there nothing was received?
Have you spoken to your neighbor, sir?
I spoke with him, but not the other day, but nothing about this, no. He didn't mention anything.
So you haven't spoken to him that if he'd be in any objection to you getting a variance to build that?
No.
Two neighbors essentially.
Well, one neighbor
There's trees.
on the other side of Pine Trees.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And then there's another one.
A little further down.
Yeah. And it's a good reminder, she sends letters out to all the neighbors, so nobody responded.
I've got a follow-up question here. On your drawings, it shows that your footing is 4 foot below grade. Can you hear me? Sir?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. And kind of a follow-up to what Warren was saying, by the time you get to your back, 12 feet back, you're gonna be probably another 2 feet lower. So now, to get 4 feet back there, the whole thing would have to be probably 6 or 7 feet deep, right?
There is a slope to it.
Yeah. You understand the question, sir?
I don't have any questions.
No, do you understand my question about the slope going
KP,
in the back?
talk to this.
Talk to the machine here.
Yeah, talk to the.
Don't yell at the screen.
No, you can't hear through the screen.
Yeah. Your yard slopes to the back of this addition, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay. In the front of the addition, you show 4 foot. By the time you go 12 foot back, you're gonna be another foot or 2 lower. Okay? So the whole
Yeah.
footing, the whole thing has to be probably 6 foot deep, not just 4 foot. You follow what I'm
correct.
saying?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I
Okay,
do
that's-
follow what you're saying. And, yes, I am following what you're saying. And, I believe that is part of the additional, in the drawings that, are being prepared. If this variance is approved, that before we're issued the permit, that there's some additions that are gonna be added to the drawing.
To cover those situations, right?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, thank you.
yes.
Are you good, Warren?
Yep.
Do we have anybody from the audience?
Actually, I have one more question.
Oh.
Off the rear of this addition that you want to build, you said there's going to be a sliding door?
Yes.
That is correct.
And then there'd be steps going down to the back of your yard, but at some point you may decide you want to put a deck there instead.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. Okay, thank you.
Can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make a motion to close.
I'll second that.
All right, so we're gonna close the public hearing. All in favor? Aye, opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, so similar to the last one, I know I say this all the time, but those 5 questions you answered in your packet, we are now going to go through those as the board. And cheat sheet. All right, whether the benefit to the applicant can be achieved by some other means. So, and that based on the property line, I don't think. Unless you build in 10.5 foot addition, it says a 12 by 12. That really would be the only other way, and even that would be. Right there.
Right.
Oh, I forgot to ask, does that take into effect any overhang? Like soffits and stuff? Do you know that, Bruce? Does that variance take into account the soffits?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
It would be going like this,
Yeah,
not like.
right, but I just wasn't sure on the side if there was any bit of an overhang that it might.
Yeah, it's included.
I thought about that the other day. I forgot to ask. Okay, all right, second question, will this, I forgot what they said to that. Will the variance cause an undesirable change in the character or the neighborhood of the nearby properties?
Nope.
It's gonna match, it's gonna- the same as the house now, so.
Looks like it's built.
Yep. Is this request substantial? No, I think it's the smallest variance we've done in a while. All right, whether the request will have an adverse physical or environmental effect on the neighborhood or surrounding area. Nope. Whether the need for this variance is self-created. They want a bigger dining room.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So with that being said, ZBA, after taking into consideration the above 5 factors, finds that the benefit of the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood. ZBA further finds that a variance for 1 feet 4 inches, correct? Yeah, 1 feet 4 inches to meet the required 15-foot setback is the minimum variance that should be granted in order to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community. There's agreement that there is no significant impact on the environment, therefore I propose a type 2 action on seeker and no further review is required. Based upon that, which one of you wonderful people would like
I'd
to
like to
make a
make a
motion?
motion. Mr. Chairman, I move that the zoning board grant an area variance to Bruce Depoliti for the real property located at 7227 Autumn Run Trail, East Syracuse, New York 13057. This variance is being granted for the specific purpose of permitting the construction of a 12 by 12 foot addition, thereby modifying the 15-foot side yard setback to that of 13 feet 8 inches, giving a variance of 1 foot 4 inches.
Do I have a second? Carried. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Congratulations, sir.
Thank you.
The office will be reaching out to you when your permit's completed.
Yes, okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great night.
You too. Bye now.
It's like a 5-6 second delay.
I don't know if we needed to, but I guess we need to get it all said and done. It is a one-story addition.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
we need to reference materials submitted. I'm still thinking the guy that submitted is, we okayed the barn and then he put 2 stories on top of the barn. This was up in Kirkville or
Oh, yeah. That was a while back.
a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I did mention the continuation.
Right. Well, and obviously the other thing too is Tom will go through and inspect it as it's getting completed. And put a stop to it if it's. Great.
Right.
All right. So on to agenda item 4. Welcome back, Alex. You guys want to come up here for just a second? I don't think you don't need to go through the whole thing again, but if you could just provide us with the update of the follow-up from the last meeting that we had and what has changed. And this is for 7119 North Manlius Road in Kirkville. That's a public hearing for 1 height variance of 5 feet, bringing the height just like the other one to 22 feet, which is 5 feet above the 17-foot code for the construction also of a 40 by 60 foot pole barn. Also, I need a motion to open the public hearing. Claire, second. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries there. Okay. All right. Thanks, sir. Welcome back.
Thank you. So last time there was discussion on the accessory building without having a residential permit in our building. So the simplest solution was now be built on my property, which has a residential structure on it.
Okay.
Because your father-in-law, right? You're building a house
Yeah, down the road, yeah.
and you're on the property,
Yeah.
Jason, yeah, which doesn't have any bearing in this now because you have a structure on your property. So. And that's where you put in that, so you have the road.
Yes.
Looks good. All right. So does anybody have any questions? Well, I keep looking at you, but it's so I don't have to look it's so I don't have to look at myself up on the screen.
No, I was trying to figure out how, I talked to this gentleman on the way in, and I remember from last time about having a house and so on, and this time we went out and looked, and we had just residential units with a barn. And I could, so your father's, this is your property off this, and then your father's property is off.
Yeah, so mine's on North Manlius.
Yeah, and your father's is,
Directly behind there is my father-in-law's property.
and what road is that on?
Shucks.
Chap's Corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where we went last time.
That was the old building.
Okay, so we're not building it on his, we're building it on yours, but you ran all the gravel out the
That's
back,
for right now. I'm gonna have a gravel driveway on my side at some point down the road.
and it's gonna
But that's
go
only for construction.
out toward your father's part,
What-
the gravel road.
Yeah, yeah, there it is.
Right?
He's got a cutout there already where the house is gonna go. It's this building permit. First, house.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Tell us about the barn.
The accessory structure is going to be, maybe around 22 feet tall. There'll be storage upstairs, which is why part of the height, of the building.
Like a wall.
Yeah, yep. Also, do still have a farm tractor that's got to parked in there. I have a boat parked in there, some cars that are parked in there. So,
You're still paying duties and that for your building materials as you get them.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't have anything on the barn itself. It's trusses, you know. So,
Also, what it looks like for construction. of-
well,
Did we have that?
There was some.
That was in the package from last month.
or was,
Yeah, I don't think it's just here, but last month's packet definitely had a
how big is the barn?
40 by
40
60.
by 60. 40 feet by
60?
60.
60. And the height of the barn itself without the truss would be about
12 feet.
about 12. Plus the truss of another 11 or whatever it is, right? So that's where we're going with this. Okay. Whole barn type?
It's gonna be conventional.
Stick truss. Okay, and siding and so on, what's that gonna be?
T111, painted T111. Pretty much the house.
Okay. Windows, doors,
No windows. The door right now is gonna be on the north side and the south side.
south side,
And, man door, it's gonna be on the front or the east side of the.
yeah. You're quite a bit off your neighbor's property.
Yeah, it's 80 feet. It's 80 feet from, my next door neighbor is my cousin, so it's 80 feet from his.
Yeah.
And it's, I think the whole width of my property is 450, so
Yeah.
80, 60, so 100 something left on the other side. Where all the trees and stuff are.
And basically, when you start this unit, you're gonna finish it. Is this, you're gonna build this yourself or you're gonna let it out?
Some subcontracting's gonna be done on it. And again, that just kind of got held up at the last zoning board meeting, and pushing back contractors. The idea would be to close it in this year, but it's gonna depend on whether when the contractors now get lined up.
Yeah,
But within a year, it's done.
okay. One of the problems we ran into in the past is giving permits and then letting the things just kind of
Take a while.
go for years. We're not going there.
We're not,
Okay.
plenty of traffic.
You're gonna itch to get it done.
Yeah, I know. But your father doesn't have any influence over you, does he?
Yes.
Oh, he does,
And
okay.
that's his
It's my
father-in-law.
father-in-law.
That's his
so
father-in-law.
Oh,
So
father-in-law.
So a little more.
he can put pressure on the lady.
Yeah, oh,
who does it.
you're dead, yes, you're dead.
See, we have fun.
Yeah, the farm equipment in there, he's gotta put in there before.
See, I was.
Tractor's still going in there.
Yeah.
It still is.
You didn't have to go get a cow.
They just farm the land, yeah, they're actually just harvest the hay off of there.
Took the hay off, yeah.
Yep.
All right,
The non-existent part.
Warren, do you have any questions?
No. Measured everything.
Sorry, Michigan. Sorry, but you're up.
You saw us?
We were on the boat. I said, who's at the house?
Oh,
Just read the doorbell. We can't.
that's right.
Sorry, Michigan.
Oh, she
We
wanted
were
to
waiting
talk.
to see it go on.
He was
Saw the
building.
leash.
Yeah.
She couldn't see.
Great thing about those ring cameras. Claire, do you have any questions?
So I saw better with the color cut.
Yeah. Terry,
No, we're good. It's 5 feet, right?
do we have any public comments? Anybody in the audience want to make a comment? You're like, just get this done. All right. All right, can we get a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion closed. Public hearing.
Thank you. Second, all in favor? Aye, opposed, motion carries. All right, so now we're gonna go through the same 5 questions. That were in your application. So whether the benefit to the applicant can be achieved by some other means. Nope. The other option was last month, and they came up with a good solution, in my opinion. Yeah, so.
Yes.
Right. All right, so next question, will the variance cause an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or the nearby properties? No. Very similar, lots of pole barns out there. Yep. And up North Manlius. All right, is the request substantial? I want to be able to fit their equipment in there and have the loft space. Not like he's
Reasonable.
building a barn dominium.
Right.
It's my new favorite word. All right, whether the request will have adverse physical or environmental effects on your neighborhood or surrounding areas. Do you guys have any flooding issues there, do you?
What's that?
On that part, do you have, we don't really have a lot of flooding right there.
No, stop.
Floodplain,
The
but
golf
it's-
course there.
By Winona?
Yeah.
Yeah. The other side of the road, where it floods.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the west side.
All right, whether the need for variance is self-created.
Yes.
One of the bars.
All right, you can go back to seat if you want to stay there. All right, so with that being said, after taking into consideration the above 5 factors, we find that the benefit of the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood or community. ZBA further finds that a variance for 5 feet for the height, yeah, that's what I meant to say, is the minimum variance that should be granted in order to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood and the health, safety, and welfare of the community. And there's agreement that there's no significant impact on the environment, therefore I propose a type 2 seeker action. Would somebody on board like to make a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion that the zoning board grant an area variance to Alex Hebert at 7119 North Manlius Road. Variance granted for the purpose of permitting and construction of a, what did you call it?
Accessory structure.
Hold on.
You didn't say pole barn.
We said accessory.
Conventional.
Accessory structure?
So code- It's what code does it.
Okay, accessory structure.
40 by 60. Sir, 40 by,
40 feet by 60 feet, yes, sir.
40 by 60 foot accessory structure. And grant the variance needed to raise the roof additional 5 feet to a height of 22 feet.
right? Yeah.
Somebody like to second that?
I second the motion.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you.
And congratulations. And they will be getting a hold of you with the information soon. All right,
Thank you so much.
you're welcome. Thank you. At this time, for our next agenda item, I am going to recuse myself from this conversation since the applicant is my brother. And I don't want to help. I'm going to have KP take over for this agenda. You don't need that, but.
I need your cheat book.
Yep.
Am I gonna be easy on it?
Yeah.
So the next thing on our agenda is Mr. Stephen Kelly, the second.
Sorry.
How are you?
Good.
Mr. Kelly and myself are not related. And I just want to take clear in case anybody has any questions. Get this book back where it belongs. So, do we have a motion open for the public hearing? Thank you. Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Going back to the beginning of this thing, sure.
We'll test it.
Sorry. Okay. But anyways, we've got the public hearing open. Why don't you tell us what you want to do and what's going on?
Yeah, sure. Properties at 1586 Strong Rock Trail, looking to build a 12 by 16 shed just for the purpose of storing lawnmower, going to be about 17 feet back from the rear, so looking for a 23-foot variance. And it's 35 to 40 feet away from the side, so there's no issues on the side. The area that I'm looking to put it, right in here, there's a lot of drainage that the property slopes will down to the back, as well as over to the wetland area over here. Looking to put it right in here, behind one of those large trees, just to preserve the tree, and set it far enough back.
Very good. Any questions?
You had it staked off.
Yep.
So it positioned in between some of the large trees.
Yeah.
Which is probably a very good place to put it, so that trees can grow.
Keep that natural look.
Yeah. If I was gonna do it, I would probably do exactly the same thing.
We're looking to do like 6x6 ties around it, probably 4 inches or so of crushed gravel. whatever it is.
I don't think you're gonna have a problem with water back there.
It's nice and level at that point, right?
Yeah. I don't have any further questions.
Same color as the house.
Yeah, it'll be matching siding, matching shingle. That would be a man door on the front, a window on either side, and then 5-foot door on the side.
Just hope a branch doesn't come down and hit that.
Well, that's a risk. Yeah, yeah, I do like the nature of the lot. It's very good. No, my understanding it's all forever wild. There's a creek that runs on the back of the property. Neighbors there. I think I have a letter. My sister is next door.
It's-
So no issue from that.
And it looks like next to that, this is your sister's house here,
It is, they have a.
They have a
it's
shed here.
12 by 20 there.
and they have a position pretty similar. like
Yeah,
you.
mine's a little further back, just kind of the way the property is.
Okay.
So this thing kind of represents the shed itself.
Yeah, those are the drawings I was given. I did pictures.
That's okay. It's basically a one-story building.
It is.
It's gonna match the house.
Yep.
It's got a wood floor,
Yeah, with floor.
no electricity, no plumbing,
Just a shed.
that's your doghouse when you're in trouble.
We'll see. I hope not.
Man cave.
Man cave, there you
Yeah, I have a
He shed.
basement for that.
go. Any other questions? Let's see if I can find the right page here. Right? Um, Right? Right there, right? Yeah. No more questions. I ask for a motion to close the hearing.
I second the motion to close.
All in favor? Thank you. As we've done in the past, we're gonna ask the board members to provide questions. Okay? You think this, that he could achieve this by some other means?
Yes, he could have moved it, he could have moved it forward.
Yeah, it would have been on a slopey lawn.
Right.
Yeah, but it's reasonable where he's at, right?
Yep.
Okay. You think it's gonna make a change to the character of the neighborhood? No. No, no.
This is
Okay.
very unique. There's two sides of Forever Wild.
Yeah,
And this, which is very unusual.
Yeah, that's what I should have done.
and a
Yeah.
garden next to the Forever Wild. Won't look like a garden.
Is the request for the variance substantial?
Yes, it's 23 feet.
Yeah, in back, I don't think so. Do you think that variance is gonna have an impact on the physical or the environmental conditions of the lot?
No.
Shouldn't, no. And whether the difficulty was self-created?
Yes.
Yeah, he wanted the shed, right? Okay. So the benefit to the the benefit to the applicant does outweigh the detriment to the neighborhood and community, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so the ZBA further finds a variance for, what's he want? A big
23 feet.
23 feet variance is the minimum variance that should grant in order to preserve and protect the character of the neighborhood, the health, safety, and welfare of the community. ZBA further grants that there's no significant impact on the environment, therefore I propose type 2 action on C4, and no further review is required. Based on the discussions, would anybody like to make a motion to grant or deny the area variance?
Mr. Chairman, or Mr.
Chairman,
Substitute Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, temporary chairman, whatever.
I'd like to make a motion that the zoning board grants an area variance to Stephen Kelly, residing at 5886 Straw Mountain Trail, Chittenango, New York. Variance granted for the purpose of permitting the construction of a 12 by 16 foot shed. Therefore, granting the variance of 23 feet to meet the required 40-foot
Rear setback.
rear setback.
Second. Thank you. In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 2 up. Put
Take
it
it
back
out,
in
that was
there, take it back.
You gave it to me before, so. All right. Do we have any other items on the agenda? Any other business? Anything about any upcoming trainings or just stuff we got right? Anybody else have anything?
Yeah,
Is there any updates? Well, I guess we could just like is there anything else that we're anticipating to come out of finance? I see.
I have not opened it.
Anything you have, Tom?
I will say, we discussed about trying to, when it comes to the permit end of it, having people there very well aware of the variance requirements that the town has, so people are aware that they can put them in these places. They want to make that known that it's not that we're telling them that they can go and put it closer. They are aware that a lot of these people are very in tune with what can happen on the property. So, yeah, we've been trying to get them a little farther away, make them less substantial. On our end before they come to you.
1 foot 4 inches off of it. Allison, anything else we need to know? All right, may we get a motion to adjourn? Motion to adjourn. Warren. Second. Claire, your hand went up super fast. All in favor?
Aye.
All right.